Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David, coming to you live from the Danner House in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Well, I'm live. This will be recorded and then uploaded to YouTube, and then you'll see it. And I'd say live before studio audience, but John just went inside, so I don't even have a studio audience anymore, unless the birds count. Okay, so I'm outside today. It's a beautiful morning. About 8 in the morning now, East Coast time, and I got up and I saw the news that Trump had more indictments waiting for him and his co-conspirators. So let's dive in, shall we? What's going on with Trump and his co-conspirators? Alright, entertainment purposes only. So what do we know about the story? Basically that January 6th, election interference. There's a shocker. Let me pause this for a second and move my camera a little closer. And that those indictments seem to involve co-conspirator 1, who's Rudy Giuliani, co-conspirator 2, who's John Eastman, and number 3 is Sidney Powell. Number 4 is Jeffrey Clark, who is the fellow who was heading up the Department of Justice. Number 5 is Ken Cheeseborough, and number 6 has not been identified yet. Okay, so here we go. Let's read on, first off, Donald. How is Donald Trump feeling now that these indictments have been let out? I mean, we know the answer, right? The Republicans need to impeach Joe Biden because, of course, that's the answer to Donald Trump about to be indicted on probably the worst charges he's got going on so far. Entertainment purposes only. What do we have? We've got the King of Wands. Okay, so this is the Department of Justice finally coming through with charges against Donald Trump. We've been waiting for this day for, 3.5 years now. And this day is finally here. And what's that going to be crossed with? The Hermit card. Secrets are going to be exposed. Things are being exposed by right now. So Donald Trump realizes the DOJ has the goods, and they're shining a light on all the stuff that was happening in the background. This is not good. Again, as I've said so many times, the truth is not good for the Republicans, and it's not good for Donald Trump, and the truth is about to come out. Everything's being revealed. In the past, we've got the walking away card. I think this is Trump and that peaceful transfer of power, or the lack thereof. He walked away from the White House and walked away from the norms in this country. It was a non-peaceful transfer of power, and everything he's done since then has been to undermine that peaceful transfer of power. And even to the point where he's still using political blackmail on the Republicans to basically put them in an armbar and get them to help him out. Also, you can also look at this Eight of Cups as Merrick Garland walking away from this case and turning it over to Jack Smith. For years, nothing was happening under Merrick Garland. The minute Jack Smith got in there, holy smokes, did everything get kicked into high gear. So I think we were done a favor. You didn't realize it at the time with the information that they had, that what Jack Smith wasn't doing, or Merrick Garland wasn't doing much, but bringing Jack Smith in was a huge difference. Now comes the fight. Now comes the good fight. In this case, I think it's the government, since this seems to be government-centric here. This is the government now being able to, bring these charges. I think this is Donald Trump also trying to fight off those charges, but there are so many cases coming at him that he's going to have a hard time fighting them all off. You've got the state of New York. You've got the second E. Jean Carroll case. You've got the Mar-a-Lago documents case. You're going to have the January 6th election interference case. You've got the civil case against Trump org. And you already have the one case where Trump org was found guilty of felonies. So he's got Stormy Daniels. You've got all sorts of stuff going on here. Hanged Man. Now we will see what happens. Donald Trump's trying to find willing sacrifices. Quick news story, I said, I only read the title, but I didn't have to read the rest of it. Donald Trump will throw his lawyers under the bus for January 6th. Because of course he will. That's exactly who he is. He's not going to own it. He's going to make somebody else own it. And for the Department of Justice, this is a whole new game. Indicting the president, bringing the president up on insurrection charges, basically. Holy smokes. And then we've got the moon card. The lesson to be learned, those secrets, all the backroom dealings, everything that was being done behind the scenes, that's now being illuminated by the hermit. This is all coming to light now. And the craziness, whether it's Sidney Powell with the barking at the moon craziness, or all the secret deals of the secret phone calls to the states and state electors, all coming out. Outcome is going to be the magician. We're in for a treat here, folks. I don't have any wood here to knock on other than these trees, but yeah, we're going to be in for a treat. This is I think for Jack Smith, this is going to be a master class in taking down a giant conspiracy. Strong emotions. This is strongly going to affect not only Donald Trump at the DOJ, but folks in the United States as well. Trump supporters are not going to be happy about this. I haven't seen any news stories yet saying that they've been causing problems and things along those lines, but expect that, this is some serious stuff. But at the same time, for some of them, it might actually be a wake-up call. Simply because they've been living in a Fox News bubble and internet meme bubble for a while, and now all of a sudden the reality of these extra charges are coming through. Now, will they just say it's a witch hunt and it's Democrats doing this, that, and the other thing? Yeah, they probably will. Will Fox News actually report this as a sorry, this table's really wobbly, that's why we got a little earthquake here as I try to shuffle. Will they try and pass it off as fake news and propaganda and such? Yeah, probably. But some people will wake up to that. Some people will be rather alarmed that you have all these indictments, and maybe where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay. Let's go through the co-conspirators. Should I do that, or should I do the separate videos? I could do the separate videos, but let's go through the co-conspirators here. Rudy Giuliani. Co-conspirator number 1. And I'm reading a CNN article here that identifies the co-conspirators. Among other things, the indictment quotes from a voicemail that co-conspirator 1 left for a United States senator on January 6th. The quotes in the indictment match quotes from Giuliani's call intended for GOP Senator Tommy Tuberville, as reported by CNN and other outlets. I wonder if that's the one that it went to voicemail, where Rudy called and left it on some reporter's voicemail and not Tuberville's voicemail. Do you guys remember that story? Keystone Cops, man. What's Rudy going to do? How's Rudy affected by all this? King of Swords. There's my boy, Jack Smith. I wonder if Rudy... well, Rudy's been indicted, so his proffer... maybe he did his proffer and he's going to get a lesser sentence, but Jack Smith is front and center on this one. Hanged man. A willing sacrifice. Okay. Rudy spilled the beans. Now, mind you, Trump would throw Rudy under the bus in a second. And I'm going to take this to mean that Rudy spilled the beans, that he was a willing sacrifice on this one to Jack Smith. Or, Jack Smith could look at Rudy Giuliani as, the easiest of the ones to take down here. And by the way, underneath it all, we have celebration. I think celebration. I think Rudy spilled the beans. Don't be surprised if Rudy Giuliani gets a lighter sentence because he gave up state's evidence. Temperance. Okay, so what's going on with Rudy's case? The information was gathered, and over time, you could see how this is almost like Rudy and company, the conspiracy group here, poisoning the United States with these lies over time. The fake, the ballot, dead people are voting, and the election results were rigged, and voting machines, and then getting fake electors. So that step-by-step process of poisoning the United States. Yeah, I keep wanting to see if I can work this into Rudy giving up state's evidence, but I'm having a hard time with it. So I don't think Rudy's been slowly leaking state's evidence. I think he barfed it up at the end. So we'll leave it at that. Okay, current situation, death card. Yeah, Rudy, you're screwed. Yeah, Rudy had a big part in all this. And now you got two arcana, major arcana now. Death card. This is the end of Rudy. This is the end of his career. He's going to lose his law licenses. He'll be lucky if he stays out of prison, and he won't be able to stay out of prison. Being on the next cards, Rudy could die. I know I've seen some intuitives say that he doesn't even make it through the legal process before passing, but this is absolutely the end of Rudy Giuliani, the end of his career, the end of his legal practices, the end of his reputation, and it could end up being the end of his life from the stress of the court cases, depending on what cards follow up here. Two of Wands is the overarching energy. This is getting ready. It's kind of the next stage of planning, but I think this is that transition of getting ready to understand that you're going to prison. That he is going to be going to prison on this one. He's going to be going through court cases, and he knows his world is over, and there's a whole new world out there, and it involves orange jumpsuits. The lesson to be learned, or the lesson to be learned on this one, Ace of Swords. Just the truth came out. The sword of justice came out. Everything is now being exposed, and Jack Smith is the King of Swords wielding the Ace of Swords. That is a dangerous combo for folks in a conspiracy, and Rudy is going to be found to have played a huge part in all this. Knight of Cups. I think Rudy's going to apologize for his actions. He's going to own what he did, and this is all going to be part of a plea agreement for him to try and get a lesser sentence. But again, I think any time that Rudy's going to spend in prison is probably going to be a life sentence for him. I don't think his health will hold out on that one. Again, the celebration of all of this. I think, again, Rudy spilled the beans on folks. This might also be Rudy coming forward and offering that additional evidence against others. That, hey, we can all be friends here. I'm a former prosecutor. It's all good. We're all on the same side. Okay, let me bury these cards here. So, Rudy's in trouble. I mean, not that we didn't know Rudy was in trouble, and I'm pretty sure Rudy knew that Rudy was in trouble, but Rudy's in trouble. Okay, let's move on to co-conspirator number 2. Isn't this fun? John Eastman. John Eastman. He's not Peter Navarro with his Green Bay sweep. I wonder if Peter Navarro's in there. I wonder if he's the election official. I don't know how Peter Navarro's not in there. He's out there talking about the frickin' Green Bay sweep. But it was John Eastman that wrote the memo saying that Trump could do all this. The way co-conspirator number 2 circulated a 2-page memo with a plan for Mike Pence to overturn the 2020 election while presiding over the Electoral College certification on January 6th. The quotes from the memo and the indictment match that of a 2-page memo Eastman wrote and reported and published by CNN. Now, mind you, there are there's lawyers that are saying, "Oh, my client's innocent. We'll fight this court. We'll do fine." Charles Burnham for Eastman said the indictment relies on a misleading presentation of the record, and his client would decline a plea deal if offered one. Yeah, sure you will. I think you won't. That's my guess. That or you're a darn fool. But okay, go up against the federal government when they bring indictment charges, felonies against you for conspiracy. Yeah, you just go ahead and fight that one. Fight the good fight. If you're innocent, go ahead and fight it. If you're guilty, you better take a deal. It's the best deal that you're going to get. John Eastman, what do we got going on for you, my friend? Victory. Who's victory? So we got a victory card here. Or could be looking at me, but this is the victory card crossed with the celebration card. Okay, I'm going to personally claim this as a victory for me. This is my victory. And again, we get the celebration card here. Eastman was the one that wrote that memo that really gave this whole conspiracy its legal footing. If folks had doubts on it, it's probably Eastman's memo that it was key to convincing him. So I think nailing Eastman is also a huge victory for Jack Smith, because Giuliani came up with these ideas to get him, but this is one of the key architects in this whole process. In the past, Eastman's been trying to hold on to his information. Like, he didn't want to turn things over to the January 6th committee. He didn't want to give up his memos, his emails, things that he had written, trying to hold on tight to everything that he can, because he knew he was in deep. And wasn't Eastman also the one that one of the White House lawyers said, you better find yourself a good lawyer? That came out during the January 6th investigations? I think it was. Okay, he's under a huge amount of stress right now. Oh, because he knows if all the bagmen, he's the biggest bagman of all. If everybody else gets off, he's the one that's not going to get off. You know what I mean? Like, if somehow you get some Trump jurors on there, or somehow charges don't go through, hold our breath and knock on wood that's not going to happen. He's like the one guy who's not going to get off on this. Page of Cups. Because it's a screwy idea. He came up with this screwball idea, and it's got his fingerprints all over it. Everybody's going to associate the this whole process with John Eastman and his memo and his ability to convince others that this could be done. The lesson to be learned is the Empress. I'll be curious to see if John Eastman's been getting funding from Russia or from other people to help. I'd be curious about his legal defense funding and any funding that he was getting during this January 6th process, because that could lead to who else was behind this insurrection, whether it was wealthy elites in the United States or Putin or people outside the United States. This Empress is about taking care of everybody and making sure everybody has enough, pregnant with possibilities. Now, if John Eastman flips, that could also be a really interesting one to find out who else is tied in this conspiracy. So keep an eye on that one. Outcome, Page of Swords. That's an interesting one. This could be showing how John Eastman, although he apparently had a great legal career, might be a legal neophyte as far as that goes. This was a foolish, kind of a wild thing to do. This could also be if he decides that he's going to turn evidence to reduce his sentence. He's going to have to be a spy and release more information on others. Five of Swords. Getting John Eastman was a huge coup. By the way, the Tower card's right underneath there. Getting Eastman indicted is going to be huge for this case, because if Eastman decides to save himself, he's going to bring down others. If he doesn't, well, you still got one of the architects. So you got the architect, which is great, and he might bring down some more people trying to lessen his sentence. We're 18 minutes in. We're not even into co-conspirator number 3 yet. Come down, co-conspirator number 3. Let me scan that. It's hard for me to get the mouse over here to work, just because of the setup. Okay, co-conspirator number 3. Let's do it in game show host fashion. The indictment says co-conspirator number 3 filed a lawsuit against the governor of Georgia on November 25th, 2020, alleging massive election fraud. And the lawsuit was dismissed on December 7, 2020. These dates in quotations match the federal lawsuit that Sidney Powell filed against Governor Brian Kemp. Okay, come on down, Sidney Powell. You get to join us all on the indictment of the right. Dun, 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 dun. Too many game shows watched in my youth during the few sick days a year that I had. Sidney Powell. Freaking Hugo Chavez lady. Oh, God. Watching that nut job. You know, Giuliani knew he was lying. She believed the lies. Oh, God. Her and Mike Lindell, what a power couple they would be. Get him in there with Ginny Thomas. Oh, you've got yourself a party. All right. Sidney Powell, Page of Wands. This is going forward with the wild, crazy ideas that she had there. What do we cross it with? The burden card. Okay, yeah. So there's a lot of burden on her because Eastman came up with the legal theory and she went out and pretty much championed it. She's the one who was going out to all the different places saying how there was election fraud and Hugo Chavez and all this other wild stuff. So she's in big trouble too. And justice is, oh man, justice is going to come down hard on her. This woman is, this woman's going to go to prison and she's going to lose her law licenses and all this stuff. But the justice card is going to be very hard on her because she was such a champion of this cause. In the past, we got the Nine of Cups. To me, this is kind of like, this is her smug way of saying, you know, I've got all the information I need. It's all right behind me, right there. And going out and blasting that information. But it was almost like they wanted to make her a special counsel and they didn't do it. But it's almost like she went with reckless abandon because she knew that she probably would have the Supreme Court on her side too. So she went out and championed these ideas because basically she didn't fear there were any consequences whatsoever for these actions. So why not? And now she's stuck to her words. She's stuck to her actions. And with this indictment, maybe she is finally waking up to the idea that this was a horrible, horrible idea. And now she's stuck. She can unstick herself, attorney state's witness, but I don't know what information she could give out that Mark Meadows, for instance, or Rudy Giuliani hasn't already done it. And I think that's part of the problem is Rudy got out the information before she did, and now she's kind of screwed. There's your tower. Her world's going to come crashing down. Her world's going to come crashing down. She is going to bear, I won't say bear the brunt, but she personally will bear the brunt for a lot of this because she went out and was actively involved with it and hawking it. There's that magician card. Yeah, this will be one of the convictions. And this is also, don't peddle illusions. She was trying to create illusions, trying to create doubt, and her actions are directly linked to causing this tower moment here. So she's stuck, and she's hosed. Outcome, nightmare. This is going to haunt her for the rest of her life and during her incarceration. Basically, from right now until incarceration ends, and maybe after that, this thing is just going to be, what was I thinking? Why would I do something like that? And again, justice is underneath all of this. She's going to be held to account for these actions. This is all on her. Free will, man. Free will. All I gotta say is, every time I would see that woman out there talking about the election and just hearing her voice, because she's got a really distinct voice, doesn't she? As far as tonal qualities and such. Irritating. Again, if you watch the About Me video, I don't like liars. I don't lie generally as a person. And when I say generally, it means I don't lie. I was telling my wife, like, oh yeah, I do lie to you on occasion, but it's usually because I just don't want to deal with something. Like, did you wipe the dog's legs, or did you wipe the dog's feet before you came in? Yeah. No, I didn't. But it's just going to be like, okay, if I go wipe it off, then she's going to be like, why don't you wipe his feet before he comes in, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's not that big a deal. I'll clean the floors. The floors aren't actually getting dirty from it, but, you know, stuff like that. But are you cheating on me? No, that's truth. The big stuff. I'm not going to lie on stuff like that. And she mostly knows when I'm not telling her the truth anyways. It's kind of a game. All right, you're lying, and I know you're lying, but I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. We actually had that conversation the other day. It was funny. We were laughing. Okay. Yeah, but just watching her go out and misrepresent everything is just infuriating. Because part of the thing is, a lot of people were believing it. Let's go to co-conspirator number 4. Enough of Sidney Powell. And co-conspirator number 4, he's a Justice Department official. Oh, great. Now we hit the Justice Department, right? And the indictment also quotes an email that a top Justice Department official sent to Clark, rebutting Clark's attempts to use the department to overturn the election. The quotes in that email directly match quotes in an email sent to Clark, according to a Senate report, about how Trump tried to weaponize the Justice Department in 2020. So that's Jeffrey Clark. Okay. So Jeffrey Clark was trying to use the Department of Justice to overturn the election. Isn't it great when you can get the corrupt DOJ to help you overturn your election results? Okay, Jeffrey Clark. Jeffrey Clark will also be somebody, he had better have flipped and spilled his guts, because if there's one thing the legal system doesn't like, it's corrupt people, and it dislikes corrupt cops even more, and corrupt lawyers even more, and corrupt judges and top brass in the Justice Department even more. So he's in a world of hurt, and look who showed up again. Jack Smith is here again. I shuffled those cards. They've been cut, but Jack Smith is here, and he's in your ear. 6 of Pentacles. I'm wondering if Jeffrey Clark actually did try to cut a deal with this one, because this is kind of like the compromise card. But again, as I was saying, when you've got somebody at Jeffrey Clark's level, you can give up a lot of information, but you're not getting a lot back. He's not going to get probation on this one. He is at the top of the food chain. He knew better, and he did what he did anyways. So there's going to be very little pity for this man when he comes begging for mercy and forgiveness. In the past, you got the 9 of Pentacles. Jeffrey Clark might have been well compensated for his actions. And it was a woman that was compensating him, but at simplest, he was living a very comfortable life. He had lots of great things going on for him, but I think this is him being compensated for his help. So again, we got money cards here, money cards here. I think there's going to be money involved with him. And I was just looking underneath the deck, see if there's money cards there. There's that. We'll let the motorcycle pass the slow cars. There's betrayal here. I think this is betrayal of the Justice Department. You know, it's one thing to have Sidney Powell lie. It's another thing when somebody in the Department of Justice is lying and trying to do this. That's why I don't think they're going to be very kind. They're going to bring the hammer down on Jeffrey Clark. He's also going to be a willing sacrifice. You know, doesn't matter how much information he gives up. They're going to hit this guy, and they're going to hit this guy hard. Expect that, you know, the government's sentence recommendation is going to be harsher, and he might get something harsher still from the judge. But he did this to himself. He absolutely did this to himself. Truth is going to come out on Jeffrey Clark. We're going to find out all the skinny on this guy. King of Cups. I'm reluctant to call that Joe Biden. Yeah, Joe Biden gives him a pardon. Of course he does. No, he doesn't. Not sure who the King of Cups is going to be on this one. I will be interested to see Jeffrey Clark's emotional state as he's coming across. Is he truly repentant for what he's done? Is he like a sloppy drunk? Is he just going to say, yeah, I did it, I'm going to take it? I'm not sure who the King of Cups energy is here, but it just might be something simple as, on the lower energy, you got caught up in the emotion of the moment and you made some horrible decisions, but I don't think that's the case. You don't get that high in the Justice Department by not being in control of your emotions. So I think this is, to me, even though it's cups, it's this stoic, I don't believe it, this is how my life turned out. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting, because his face is looking rather stoic. I think he's messed up. And I think he's going to prison. And this is him welcoming, this is him getting kicked out of the Justice Department. If there were things that could impact his pensions and stuff like that, that's going to happen. Yeah, he's definitely going to prison. This is them welcoming him into the prison yard type of thing. Bye-bye, you're going to go for a long time. And again, because there's that betrayal underneath there. Unless this person tries to get him out of the country or something along those lines. But Jeffrey Clark isn't, I don't think he's on MBS's short list of people to liberate from the United States, if you know what I mean. Actually, to be honest, I don't think there's anybody on MBS's short list on getting him out of the United States. I think there's nobody on that list. So, we get through Jeffrey Clark. Now we get to co-conspirator number 5. Co-conspirator number 5 is Kenneth Cheeseborough. Let's see. The indictment references an email memorandum that co-conspirator 5 sent to Giuliani on December 13th, 2020 about the fake electors plot. Oh, now we get our fake electors guy. Oh, he's not going to be like, he's not going to like this one. The email sender, recipient, date, and content are a direct match for an email that Cheeseborough sent to Giuliani, according to a copy of the email made public by the House Select Committee. Yeah, Cheeseborough, oh good God, the fake electors. And all these idiots that signed their name on that and sent it to the National Archives. Don't mess with the librarians. They're like evil Disney villains. Tenfold worse. They're actually worse than the Disney lawyers. I really have to thank Bo, the fifth column, for that visual. He described the Disney lawyers as like all the evil Disney villains combined into one. That's who the Disney lawyers are, because they're really effective at what they do, and they show no mercy. And then, oh God, come on down. Mr. Cheeseborough, you are in a world of pain. Okay. Oh, maybe that same person that was linked up with Jeffrey Clark might be with Jeffrey Cheeseborough here, with Kenneth Cheeseborough here too. So we got this 9 of Pentacles again, crossed with the 3 of Cups. I'm wondering if he also tried to turn evidence. There's some celebration here. Maybe he tried to work on it. There's something here with these women and the celebration. I wonder if he got bribed into doing it. It's possible he got bribed into doing this. Ronna McDaniel from the RNC was apparently involved in all this. So this could also be his involvement with her. I'm curious. She hasn't shown up yet in this reading, and I don't know who co-conspirator 6 is. What's underneath it all? Exposure. Oh. This is not good. This is going to kind of expose who he's been working with and who he was partying with on this one. This is going to expose like another conspiracy or another layer to what's going on with everything. Okay, in the past, the sun's exposed. Yeah, I think he flipped, actually. The truth came out, and he probably turned and gave up that information here. Current situation is the tower. Oh yeah, he's going to go down. He's going to go down hard. but he might be bringing other people down with him, because doesn't a doesn't a party like more people in it? And if misery loves company, and if I'm going to be miserable in prison, I'm going to take the person who suggested it, gave me money, and told me what a wonderful guy I was, the best guy ever, to come down with this. Yep, so there's him offering that information. This is the truth, bringing people down. Him offering his 2 cents on this one. Oh, he was going to say he was dazzled. He was dazzled by the fame and the fortune. He was just temporarily insane by all the wonders that this woman and these women proposed to him. That's pathetic. Dude, you're pathetic. Ace of Wands. So he went forward. He probably went. He might have been one of the first ones to go to the DOJ and do a plea deal. And again, oh God! And then the Hermit card again is underneath it, so things being exposed. He's probably done whatever he can do to reduce his sentence. I suspect that as things pan out, we're going to find out that he flipped. If he hasn't flipped yet, although the Sun card in the past would seem to indicate that he would, and the Ace of Wands in the outcome shows he we'd be doing. Hopefully, what I'm trying to say is he had the information. The outcome is the Ace of Wands. That could be he hasn't flipped yet, but he's going to. But if he wanted the best deal to keep himself out of prison, he should have done this a while ago. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Do I want to throw in... we could throw in political co-conspirator number 6. Political consultant who helped implement a plan to submit fraudulent slates of presidential electors to obstruct. Okay. And it ties the person to the fake elector slate in Pennsylvania. Okay, so this is somebody directly involved in the fake electors. Saying that Hugo Chavez has doctored up voting machines is one thing, but to actually go forward... Let this truck pass. And get a bunch of Republicans to sign their name on a document and send it to NARA, the National Archives. The ones that are 10 times worse than Disney lawyers, who are 10 times worse than all the Disney evil princesses and evil villains combined. Oh yeah, good idea. Oh, this person is so screwed. Notice we haven't talked about Mark Meadows. Okay, co-conspirator 6. What do you got for me? You gonna give me the 9 of Pentacles too? Okay. Getting ready, plotting. I think this person is getting ready to take some action here. The Empress. This person might flip also because they need to take care of themselves. Yeah, their best interest is not being co-conspirator number 6 without a deal. There's your celebration again. Okay, so this co-conspirator 6 is now linking up with Kenneth Cheeseborough, and that makes sense. This card was linked over with Cheeseborough as the cross, so this person is probably that cross that was with Cheeseborough. So these two are going to be linked, as well they should, because they did their election interference. Okay, so I think it's this person was planning. It's probably a woman that was doing this, trying to celebrate this new plan and implement this new plan of fake electors to overturn that election. God, I wonder if that's Ronna McDaniel. I'll bet you this is Ronna McDaniel, this political operative. We'll find out. The Emperor. Yeah, because this person's kind of in charge of stuff. This person was doing a lot of the legwork with the fake electors. Now they implemented this plan with the fake electors, celebrating the election, helped hatch the plot, was overseeing things, getting the memos out to all the fake electors and just doing that coordination. They worked hard on this, trying to get this thing through. Queen of Wands. somebody who, yeah, this is just somebody who was involved in the whole thing. They were in charge. They were in a leadership position on this, and they were calling shots. They were thinking about what the next plans of actions were going to be. Manifesting the illusion, trying to get this thing through. Again, part of it's probably because I saw an article talking about Ronna McDaniel working with folks on this conspiracy, and I'm gonna guess, if I had to guess, if this was any person that's unnamed, I'm gonna guess Ronna McDaniel. We'll find out. Okay, this has been a long enough video. 40 minutes of conspiracy fun for everyone. So we got our January 6th indictments, and we, of the 6 co-conspirators, we know the identities of 5. The 6th one remains to be seen. Trump's pissed. He wants to impeach Joe Biden because, well, of course he does. I'm going to go to jail. You need to impeach Joe Biden too. It's just not fair. He's going to stamp his feet and have a tantrum because he's a big man baby. All right, I'm going to let you go on this one. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for doing everything you've done to support me on my journey and our journey on this one. I really do appreciate it. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.